The Epstein Files are all over the news and everyone is fighting about whose name showed up, but nobody's talking about the question that actually matters to your life right now, because there is a pattern hiding in this whole scandal, and that same pattern is playing out in your bedroom right now. It's why she keeps saying no, and I've seen it in hundreds of marriages, and most guys have no idea it's even running in the background. So in this video, I'm going to show you what the Epstein Files actually reveal about masculine sexuality, why the same energy is killing desire in your marriage, and the first step to healing this shadow. So here's what nobody's talking about with these files. Every man connected to this case had massive external power. We're talking about billionaires, world leaders, spiritual gurus, guys who would walk into any room on the planet and command instant respect. Some of them literally taught other people how to live a good life, and yet, behind closed doors, their sexual shadow was running the show. Now, when I say shadow, I mean the parts of yourself that you hide or deny, even to yourself. Think about it like a leak under your kitchen sink. You can ignore it for months, but eventually the water shows up somewhere you don't want it. In a marriage, your wife feels that leak even if you think you got it all covered. And when you start pulling on this thread, it doesn't stop at a handful of famous names, it just keeps going. Look at how big the porn industry has gotten. Look at how dark and violent it's become in the last 10 years. We have basically given men's sexual shadow an all-you-can-eat buffet, and then we act surprised when things go wrong. And I'm not talking about the guys who need to be locked up. I'm talking about ordinary good men. Guys who goes to work, coming home, paying taxes, doing their thing. They are not hurting anyone directly, but they're quietly consuming stuff that feeds that same shadow. And whether they realize it or not, it's building up inside of them. Society has basically given us men two options with our sexual energy: repress it or let it run wild in the dark. And neither of those works. You can try to be the good husband who white knuckles it and stuffs everything down, but that just builds pressure. We have seen this play out for hundreds of years with religious leaders, with priests, gurus, imams, guys who preach morality on the surface but have a shadow festering underneath that eventually explodes. Willpower alone has never solved this because it doesn't touch the root. Or you let the shadow run in secret. Maybe it's the late night browsing when she's asleep. Maybe it's the fantasy world in your head that your wife knows nothing about. Except she does know, not in details perhaps, but she can feel something is off. She can feel you're not fully there with her, and that's when she starts pulling away. Your wife isn't pulling away because you did something wrong last Tuesday. She's pulling away because she can feel the shadow. She can feel the gap between who you are in front of her and what's actually going on inside of you. Women are incredibly tuned in to this stuff, way more than most men give credit for. So the bottom line is, the shadow has to be healed, actually looked at, sat with, and worked through so it stops running your life. So here's something you can start practice already now. For the next 7 days, keep a note on your phone and note down every time you catch yourself going to porn after she turns you down, or scrolling for Instagram models when she's ignoring you, or disappearing into fantasy while she's sitting right next to you. Write down what was happening just before. Maybe you had a stressful day at work. Maybe she was cold toward you at dinner. Maybe you were just bored and numb. don't judge that. Just track it. And after a week of doing this, you will see a clear pattern. That pattern is the shadow showing you exactly where the wound is. Most men, though, have never looked at this. They just react on autopilot. And this exercise starts to change the whole game. And if you want to go deeper, I got a free shadow work guide you can download, link in the description. So that's the first thing, but knowing that you have a shadow isn't enough. A lot of guys figure this out and then they try to think their way through it, and that never works. Which brings us to the part most men completely miss. Look at how many spiritual teachers and self-help gurus have shown up in those files. Guys who built their entire careers teaching people about consciousness and higher living, millions of books sold. They can talk about spirituality better than almost anyone on the planet, but talking about it and embodying it are two completely different things. Because you read the books, you listen to the podcasts, you understand the concepts, maybe even meditate sometimes, but your wife isn't responding to your ideas about being a better man. She is responding to how it feels to stand next to you. She is responding to the energy you carry when you walk into the room. And a lot of men do their personal growth from the neck up. They understand the theory of being present, they can explain polarity, but it all stays intellectual. It never lands in their physical body, and your wife can feel the difference between a man who understands presence and a man who actually is present. That shadow, those patterns that we talked about, they're not stored in your mind. They're stored in your gut, in the tension you carry in your chest when she's cold towards you. You can't journal or intellectualize your way out of your nervous system pattern. You have to meet it in the body. So here's a simple practice you can try. Tomorrow morning, when you wake up, the first thing before you reach for your phone or go to the bathroom, sit on the edge of your bed with your feet on the floor, close your eyes, and just feel yourself for 2 minutes. Not thinking about yourself, actually feeling the weight of your legs, the breath moving you, whatever tension is sitting in your chest or in your belly. And you're not trying to fix any of that. You're just making contact with what's actually going on inside of you. Because most men spend their entire day up in their thoughts, completely disconnected from their physical experience. And when you start doing this consistently, something shifts in how you carry yourself. You become more solid, more grounded, and your wife is going to feel that before you can even explain what you have been doing. So now you can see the pattern, the same shadow that played out on a massive scale in the Epstein Files is running quietly in millions of marriages right now. Repress it or act it out in secret. Both lead to the same place. She pulls away and you have no idea why. But seeing the pattern is just step one. Actually healing it is a whole different process. That's why I put together a free shadow work guide. Grab it in the link in the description and start doing the real work. It goes way deeper than what I could cover in this video. Start that now because your marriage is waiting for you to show up differently. Blessings.